Well, ladies, I have an update for you. Let's go back a few episodes where I was talking about my doctor and how I have a higher cholesterol, and he immediately wanted to put me on um, medication. And my little side note here is I totally believe in medication. I do believe in taking medication when warrant. I don't believe in medication as here, here, you have this, let's just go down this path. And I fought to have my CAT scan for calcium buildup on my heart to see where I stood there. I stood with zero calcium buildup, and then it took him or his office over a month to call me to tell me I didn't need the medication. So I went out and I started to look for another doctor because all three of us have um, really talked about advocating for yourself. And I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. I just felt like, here's what your numbers say. Here's the drugs you should be taking. I'll see you in a year. So I actually was at my dermatologist, and they had the best of the city I live in magazine, and I opened it up, and there was this doctor in there. And she is what they call a DO. So they do more functional, like check the whole body instead of just looking at one number. Well, I had my initial meeting with, it's a male doctor. And let me tell you, let me just tell you, this man, this office was, they had asked me to fill out a bunch of forms, and I had to give a bunch of permission to any doctor I had in the last 5 years. They wanted to read my records before I came in. That was number one. I've never had that happen before. I've had to fill out, like, does your family have diabetes or cancer or hypertension, all of that.
Which
But I've
really
never
sucks
had,
because a lot of times you don't remember or you don't
no,
have everything
no.
in your head.
And if you're like I was, I mean, if you're younger or newly, or you don't know everybody from your family, because I was a child of divorce, like you just don't know everything that's going on. And so I didn't understand, they had everything. So when I came in, he saw I had uterine cancer. He saw I have the BRCA2 positive gene. He saw that I've seen a dermatologist. He had all my records. He saw everything about it. And him and I had this really good conversation. And I have, I think it's, I'm going to not say it right. Osteo, I don't have the osteoporosis. I don't have the bad one. I have the osteopenia, like the beginning stages of it. Well, he even described what part of my body has that bone density. Like he told me it's my left upper femur on my left side, like that detailed. And so I explained to him how I have a trainer and I'm working out, and we've decided that walking is probably good for me because I have this bone density issue. And he was like, tickle pink, this is perfect. This is what you should be doing. That is going to build your bones. That's excellent, Michelle, and all of this. And then we got to my cholesterol. And let's look in here. Yeah. We got to my cholesterol. And he's like, your cholesterol's high. And I'm like, and I just like gripped and waited. And I said, he goes, we need to dig into this. I'm like, what? He's like, we have to dig into this. And so he's like, I see your good cholesterol's high. I do see you had the cardio, you have no calcium, but that doesn't mean that that won't happen. Like that can still happen. Excuse me. But I would like to do an in-depth blood test on you. And I'm like, well, what will this do? And he's like, it actually will pull apart your cholesterol So I have a list here of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're probably taking half of my blood. 7, 8, 8 different like blood tests that he's going to do. And I'm going to go the first week in January because then my insurance picks up again. And so I see him like the third week of January, and he's like, but he also gave me 2 natural supplements. And one of them is red yeast rice, which is a pill form. And the other one's Burbian. Burbian. Yeah, I think that's it. They're in the other room. I meant to grab them. Both of them, the red yeast rice is a natural statin. And the Burbian helps your blood and your metabolism. So he's like, these are natural ways of lowering your cholesterol. So he's like, I'd like to try these. You have blood tests in January. You see me in the middle of January. And if we don't see any reduction or any change, the next thing we'll try is a diet. We'll look at your diet. Like, oh, I probably have to go to lean red meat and things like that. But he's like, we're going to look at that. So I felt so comfortable, so seen, so heard that I had this conversation like with him. He's like, okay, you have your gynecologist. Yep, you're going to stay there with him. You're seeing your dermatologist. Yep, that's good there. Like he went through everything. Like, we're good, we're good, we're good. Yep, we're going to do this and this. You have appointments for your breast specialist. Like it was like him and I sat down and we made a plan. Imagine that. We made a plan. So I wanted to guys give you an update on that, like how good that felt and how I felt. I felt very comfortable when I left there.
Almost life-changing.
It was. It was.
No,
And so
but
here's,
someone's listening like to you about
yeah,
your body and want your
yes,
input.
right. And I'm not going to say, I mean, if we try all this and we get down to that very last and you might have to take, I don't know what decision I'll make then, but at least I'll feel like everything has been tried before I made that decision. Like we tried all this other stuff until I made that decision. And I even like looked in I was like sitting in where was that, waiting room, and there was all kinds of different people sitting there. It was a very busy office, but he didn't rush me. He didn't say anything. I talked about some of where since I've had my surgery, my double mastectomy, I've had some struggles within my weight. So he's doing a metabolic blood thing. Like he just listened to what I said. And that was extremely refreshing.
I think that's awesome for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
Like
It's
we,
1 in a million to get that level of attention. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And I was probably in his office 15 minutes, but it felt like it felt great. He was ecstatic. I was rocking. He's like, I have 2 other women that are rocking. This is the best thing you could be doing for your bone density. We talked about things. I made a couple tweaks right now in my diet, but nothing over drastic, but it's just, we'll see. We'll see and I've got these supplements I'm taking and we'll see where we go. Oh, I know what I was saying. I've said this to other doctors. So my mother and my half brother, they've had heart conditions. My heart is fine. My grandmother has had conditions here with her carotid arteries. She's had these had to have stents put in. So I said to him, oh, that's another thing we have in our family history. He's like, okay, come here. He sat, he looked, like he listened to them with the stethoscopes. Nope, they're all clear. Like,
Mhm.
like it was just, I was like, okay, cool. Like, thank you. So that
Wow,
was
eh?
extremely
Jeez.
refreshing. Yes.
That's
And side
awesome.
side note, so you're saying that just basic walking is going to just be very preventive for what the
Bone
osteo,
density. Yep.
yeah, the bone density.
Yep.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
a good thing to know, everyone to
If
know.
you're if you're starting to lose your bone density, um, I've added rucking in for myself, but um, I knew my girlfriend and her sister-in-law, no, a close friend of hers. The close friend is a yoga instructor in her 80s and took up more walking. And I think she might have added weights with her walking, like just holding weights or whatever, or the weights you could put around your ankles and your hands. And she reversed her bone density.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow, that's
So
impressive.
walking is one of the better ways. And for most times during the day, where I'm sitting right now is a standing desk. So I have an anti-fatigue. So I'm standing most of the time. So
That's
you're putting
great.
pressure on your legs and your bones. So
Right.
Mm.
it gets them stronger. Yes,
Good to know.
yes,
Hmm.
walking and trying to walk brisk. And when I'm at the gym, part of my walk up warm up now is I go incline all the way up with nothing on. Like I don't mean no weighted vest
You're
or ruff
naked?
or anything. No. Oh, pick that up. And I bring it all the way up and I walk on the high incline, not holding on. So you have to go slower speed so you don't do that. And then I bring it down a little bit and I have to reverse myself, which is hard. That was nervous first, and I walk backwards. Walking backwards
Wow.
also is helpful. Yep.
Mm.
Well, I broke my or sprained my toe a couple of weeks ago and I stopped my walking and I sure noticed the difference. Like I
Yep.
felt way more tired. Everything it's just like ugh. And it's amazing what just something basic, not a gym
Yeah.
membership, all that stuff that you
No.
just go
Yeah.
out and walk, let alone,
Yes.
doing some of the stuff you're doing with it.
Hmm.
I just posted on Instagram in my stories a woman in her 80s that just completed a Hawaii triathlon. And she stumbled across, like she fell. You have to see she's totally exhausted. And I want to be that person. I don't know if I want to do a triathlon, but I want to keep climbing mountains. So the only way to do it is to move your body.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
That's it.
amazing. I think I've seen that clip actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like, sometimes it's not easy to go find another doctor. I know where you guys are, it's not always
Oh,
easy for you guys, but I think we have to get comfortable with asking questions and understanding more so what is going on with ourselves and our bodies. I think, and this doctor here, this new doctor, he was very respectful of my previous doctor. He was like, in textbook, what he was doing was correct. Like he didn't put him down. He
hmm,
didn't
hmm.
say, well, yeah, he's just pushing drugs on you. He didn't do any of that, which I thought was very professional of him. Like that is. And
Hmm.
so you don't always have that. But I never even thought about there was be a supplement to help you. And I usually look into things like that. And I never thought because I was always told that, oh, high
Hmm.
cholesterol, you have to take this statin. So you can ask questions.
Yeah,
It's
for
hard.
sure.
It's yeah. I mean, I'm thrilled for you because that here, certainly in my province, it's very, very difficult to even find a doctor. Most people are on wait lists at doctors' offices, and I would suggest that, one of the reasons our healthcare is under so much pressure is because if someone is sick, the only place they go to is the ER.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. So that's why your wait times are astronomical,
Yeah.
because they're triaging and trying to figure out who it is that they need to see first. And obviously somebody who's, appears to just have a cold, is going to get put right at the very end of the line. But
Yeah,
there's such a doctor shortage. It's a real, real problem. Real problem.
that's, and see, and I never had a primary doctor. I got a primary, well, I shouldn't say never. That's false. When I moved out to Wisconsin, I didn't get a primary doctor. I had my gynecologist, but I was never sick. I never had anything wrong with me. And I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just I never, really was sick. And when I had the uterine cancer, I had to have a primary because they have to do some checkups to make sure you can go into um, surgery. And I looked at my gynecologist. I'm like, I don't even know where to go. And so she gave me a recommendation, and that's who I used. In the state of Florida, though, you cannot see any other doctor unless you have a primary. So you have to have a primary. I don't need it for a referral, but you have to be able to put down a primary on any form. So for me to go see a gynecologist, to go see the dermatologist or whatever, I had to have a primary. I didn't have to have a referral from my primary. I just had to have a primary. It's state
Hmm.
law down here. Maybe because it's old.
For here, it's you have to have a referral for anything.
Anything,
It
anything.
doesn't matter what it is. You have to be referred either because you went to ER, they're going to refer you, or
Yeah.
you do have an actual doctor that you go to that you have to see them first and then they will refer you. It's
And even
and
like,
actually, sorry, I was going to say that even the referrals are only good for a certain length of time. So my husband has a dermatologist and he went because he had a couple of things that needed to be removed. And the doctor said, come back and see me like in a year. And it was like a bit late. Like it was just over a year. They wouldn't, it's like, no, you now have to go back to your primary doctor to get another referral.
and
Like
that
how
happened
crazy.
happened to my stepmom where she was going regularly every 3 months to the eye doctor who did eye surgery or something, but her referral, and they go, okay, next time just make sure you get another referral. It's like you're dealing with her on a consistent basis. So now you're asking for her to go physically into another
Yeah,
doctor so they could say, continue what you're doing, even though you're on this um this
yeah,
protocol of what you should be doing. It makes no sense
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's like talk about double dipping. Like, okay, so now I got to
Oh
go see
yeah.
yeah,
the doctor. Then I get to go to see the dermatologist. Like, but I already
yeah.
know that I need to go to see a dermatologist. It's not.
Mhm.
It's
But
wild.
here, it depends on the type of insurance that you have on whether you need a referral or not. There's some types of insurance that you need a referral for everything, and there's other types of insurance you don't need a referral, or it depends on where you're going. I think like when I had all my surgeries, yes, that point needed a referral. It wasn't like I just felt like going to have surgery. You know what I mean? So, but in the United States, it depends on the type or the insurance company that you're with on whether you need a referral or not.
Yeah. It makes
So,
no difference here whatsoever.
and my partner, he's on Medicare because he's fully retired, and his between his Medicare and his supplement, there's no referrals whatsoever. No, no. So, yep,
Crazy, eh?
yep, different messes. But I wanted to give you an update,
Yes,
That's
and
so awesome.
very
so
happy.
And you know
I,
what? I think it's really important to circle back to the fact that I mean, it's great news, but it also, again, shows the value of advocating for yourself. And if you're not comfortable with the decision, to challenge that
mhm,
decision, get a second opinion. Like you deserve to feel good about
yeah,
what you're doing with yourself.
Yeah.
yeah,
You really do. So kudos to you for pursuing that.
yes. So viewer, do you advocate for yourself? I think we've asked this question beforehand, but if you didn't feel comfortable with your doctor, would you ask that question? Would you challenge the status quo? I guess it is. Put it down in the comments. We would love to hear. Make sure you share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Hit like button if you resonated with this. Make sure you hit that subscribe and notifications so you know when our next episode comes out.
Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.